Today, we're going to peel back a layer of the digital world that's pretty much all around us, but almost completely invisible. We are talking about steganography, the incredible art of hiding in plain sight. So let me just ask you this. What if that picture of a sunset you just scrolled past, or, that cat meme your friend sent you, what if it wasn't just a picture? What if it was secretly carrying a hidden message, maybe a file or even a piece of code, and you'd have no idea? All right, let's dive into this, because that's not some hypothetical question. It's the reality of a practice that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a spy movie, but trust me, it is very, very real. So the official term for this whole thing is steganography, and the most important part is right there in the definition. See, this isn't about scrambling a message to make it unreadable. This is about hiding the fact that a message even exists in the first place. The goal here is total, complete concealment. This is the perfect way to think about it. Imagine a totally normal-looking sentence. If you know the secret, you can pull out a hidden meaning. But to literally everyone else, it's just a paragraph. Well, steganography is the digital version of that, just on a much, much more powerful scale. So how is this even possible, right? How do you hide an entire document inside a picture of a coffee cup? Well, let's get into the mechanics of it, because the secret, it's all hidden inside the tiniest little parts of our digital files. It really does all come down to pixels. When you look at any digital image, what you're actually looking at is a giant grid of millions of tiny little dots. And each one of those dots, each pixel, has its color defined by a set of numbers. A specific number for how much red, how much green, how much blue. And that's all a digital picture really is, a giant, giant collection of numbers. Okay, so this is where the magic happens. Using a really common technique called the least significant bit method, or LSB, some software can make a teeny tiny change to that number that defines a pixel's color. Think of it like this. If a pixel's shade of blue is represented by the number, say 150, the software can just nudge it to 151. To our eyes, that tiny one-digit change is completely invisible. The shade of blue looks exactly the same. But that tiny change can represent one bit of hidden data, a 1 or a 0. Now imagine doing that across millions of pixels. Each tiny, unseeable change adds another bit to the secret message. And when you add up millions of those little bits, well, you can hide an entire file inside a perfectly normal-looking picture. And hey, this isn't just for images. This same basic idea can be applied to all kinds of media. You could hide a message in the tiny, inaudible frequencies of an audio file, or embed data across thousands of individual frames in a video. Heck, even a simple text document can hide information with invisible formatting characters. It's an incredibly versatile technique. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't this just encryption? And that's a super common question, but they're actually fundamentally different tools for totally different jobs. So let's break down the real difference between hiding a message and just scrambling it. Okay, here's the bottom line. With encryption, you can see there's a secret message. It just looks like a jumbled mess of code. Its existence is obvious, but its content is protected. With steganography, the message is completely invisible. You wouldn't even know where to begin to look. So one is like a locked box sitting in the middle of a room. The other is like a secret message written in invisible ink. And for the absolute ultimate in digital secrecy, these two are often used together. First, you take your message and you encrypt it, turning it into unreadable gibberish. Then you take that encrypted code and you hide it inside an ordinary file using steganography. It's like putting your locked box inside a secret compartment behind a painting. You're getting maximum security through layers of deception. Now, as with any powerful technology, steganography is a bit of a double-edged sword. It has some really important legitimate uses, but it also has a pretty dark side. So let's look at how it's actually being used out there in the real world, for both good and for bad. On the good side of things, artists and companies use it to embed invisible watermarks to prove they own their work. It's also a vital tool for journalists and activists in restrictive countries, letting them send messages without raising any red flags. But then, there's the other side. Cybercriminals use it to hide malicious code. So a piece of malware might be hidden inside a totally innocent-looking image attached to an email. You open the image and bam, the hidden code runs and infects your computer. Attackers and extremist groups have also been known to use it to communicate and plan, hiding their messages right out in the open on public forums. So what steganography really does is it reveals this hidden layer to our digital lives, a whole world of information that exists all around us, but is completely unseen by most people. In the end, it all comes back to this really simple but powerful idea. We look at the painting, we admire the art, and we have absolutely no idea that there's something more hidden just beneath the surface. And that really leaves us with one last fascinating question, doesn't it? Now that you know about this hidden world, it kind of makes you wonder, in an age where we're just surrounded by endless digital files, what else is hiding in plain sight?